October was a big month of books coming in. So welcome to Matt on Books, where I talk about fantasy mostly, science fiction sometimes, and comics occasionally. I haven't really done a specifically book haul video yet, ever. But October, even though I wasn't that active making videos, see my previous October wrap-up video, I got a lot of new books and I wanted to share them with you because some of them are really exciting. So what did I get? First of all, I've been interacting here on YouTube, on Twitter, elsewhere with a number of authors, which I've never really done before. And some of them were nice enough to send me their books. In the self-published category, we have Michael R. Miller, sent me Ascendant. Just by the cover, it looks a bit YA, so I'm not sure this is going to be so much my thing, but I know that a number of people have really enjoyed this. So thank you, Michael, and I'm looking forward to trying this out. We'll see how it goes. Possibly more my thing, Vaughn Roycroft, who I know is a fan of the channel, sent me his book, The Severing Sun. It's got a really interesting cover. I love wraparound covers, and it reminds me a lot of a scene. If anyone's a role player and knows RuneQuest, I can imagine this being in a RuneQuest book. I really like the cover. Vaughn has written me a number of times, seems to be a really, really nice guy. Signed this, "We Tolkien fans have to stick together. Seize your destiny." So thank you a lot, Vaughn. I look forward to reading this. Also another self-published author, John Palladino, had a competition on Twitter, which I entered expecting nothing, and I won his book, The Trials of Ashmount. I haven't got it yet, so I can't show you the physical copy, but it should be on its way to me soon. And that one looks maybe a little too grim and a little too dark for me, but we'll see. I definitely look forward to reading it, and I'm looking forward to having it in my hands because the cover looks very interesting. And I mentioned in my October wrap-up that I audiobooked Priest Bones by Peter McLean, and he put me in touch with his publisher, and they sent me the whole series. This is only 3, there are 4, there's one more coming. They're basically sending them to me as they get them in stock. So thank you so much for those, Peter and Ella, and I look forward to reading the rest of them that I can't get in audiobook on paper. Another big thing I mentioned on my October wrap-up was I audiobooked a book called Invisible by Paul Auster. Not fantasy, not sci-fi, not comics. He is one of my favorite authors. I went through a phase where I read lots of literary fiction or contemporary fiction, whatever you call it. And listening to that book reminded me how much I love him. So I bought a bunch of Paul Auster books. This is 6 Paul Auster books, and it's as thick as 2 fantasy books. And I've got a number more. This is Brooklyn Follies, Oracle Night, Invisible, the New York Trilogy, Leviathan, and Sunset Park. I've got about this many again on my shelf now. I wanted to actually have Paul Auster on my shelf since he is such one of my favorite authors. So a stack of Paul Auster. Fans of John Gwynne will be happy to see that I bought the rest of the Faithful and the Fallen series. I was kind of lukewarm on Malice, but I was hooked enough to keep going, so I went ahead and got the rest. Not sure when I'm going to get to them, but I've got them. And in preparation for the A Song of Ice and Fire reread, for me, read-along, coming up in January, I got this edition of all of the books because I didn't own this series. I've read it 2 or 3 times, but I didn't own it in physical and a physical copy. I'm not holding up the entire thing because it's about this long, but I got the whole set, and I got Fire and Blood, which is chunky, but it has a lot of illustrations, and it's very generously typeset. So I don't think it's quite as thick a book as it really looks like it is here. I got A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which I've read before, but I'd like to reread it. And I got The World of Ice and Fire, which I have never seen before. Unfortunately, it's a little damaged in shipping, but it's got gorgeous illustrations throughout and has a lot of info about the world. Some really, really nice layout and illustration in there. My idea, as you probably know, I'm doing the Malaz Everything Read. So I'm reading a Malazan book every second book. So right now I'm reading House of Chains. Next, I actually think I'm going to read Guards, my first foray into Discworld. After that, another Malazan book. After that, maybe Fire and Blood. I got Fire and Blood and The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms as a way to sort of get into the mood and get back into the Westeros world before the big read-along in January. So I'll be studying The World of Ice and Fire and getting deeper into it with those. I also want to pick up, I basically decided that a TBR where I have a plan for every second book is enough of a plan. So I'm definitely going to do Malazan something else. But what those something else's will be, I'm not trying to plan them ahead. Right now, I feel like something funny would be good, so I think Guards is probably the next something else in between. But then after that, we'll just see. I'll play it by ear. But I definitely want to get back into Westeros before we start the big read-along. So I hope you are reading awesome books. I hope you're doing well. Let me know what your November reading plans are down below, and I will see you next time.